made much of its people who left and exported Scottish values across the globe. But what of the story of those who came to Scotland? Some immigrants came to escape poverty, war, or persecution. Others were invited here to fill gaps in the labour market, while some ended up here by accident of fate. Whatever circumstances brought them to Scotland, they've all changed this country in different ways. World War II would have a considerable impact on the cultural makeup of Scotland. It would bring a new wave of unintentional migrants to this country in the form of Polish soldiers and bring unforeseen tragedy to the Italians, settlers who had, until then, been welcomed into Scotland. Before the end of the 19th century, there were just a handful of Italians living in Scotland, but over the next 30 years, this community was to grow to nearly 6,000.
My father and mother came from farming people in a place called Borgotaro. When the grandparents died, the farms were divided, and there wasn't enough for everybody in the family. So, poverty, they had to come and look for it to make money somewhere else.
There was no work in Italy at that particular time. And my father and mother were born there, and they came up here, and they brought me up when I was about 5. And since then, I was just remained here.
My father came over to work here after the First World War. He was disillusioned with the south of Italy especially, and he had an uncle who lived in Glasgow and had bought property in Lanark called the Cross Cafe. So the uncle got him to come across, and they gave him an ice cream van, and he went about all the outlying districts in Lanark selling ice cream. And after about 5 years, 6 years, he built a chip shop. Well, they built a chip shop in the back of the cafe.
Many Italians were to find work by setting up cafes and restaurants across Scotland. They were the first immigrants to bring their food into Scottish popular culture, and the rise of cafes such as Mancini's in Ayr, which served previously unavailable fish and chips and ice cream, streamlined their integration into Scottish hearts and stomachs.
Preparation potatoes. It's about 2 or 3 hours in the morning when we come in, open up, get everything prepped. First of all, I start with the potato side and then on to the frying side.
Funny, every little village has got a fish and chip shop. Now, of course, the Scots people are taking over, but there was a time where there was ice cream and fish and chip shop every little town, and it was a wee tally-wally, it was there.
I think a lot of people think that the stereotype of Italians as fish and chip shop owners and caterers is in some sense offensive, and it's really not. Scots Italians are extremely proud of the fact that they run chip shops and restaurants and so on. I mean, feeding people, watering them, making them happy.
Off the top of my head, I don't know an Italian who's not in the chip shop business, the restaurant business, the cafe business, or hotel business. That's what they do.
We had queues a mile long because people in Leith depended on fish and chips. They ate a lot of fish and chips in their day. I did.
As a wee boy, on Saturdays, for example, when there was no school, I would go and I would help to gut the fish and clean the potatoes and prepare everything for the evening's train.
I started working in about 2 years ago. It's quite good, yep. I got on well with my family, so it's quite good working here. And I got a bit of experience as well. You get on with the customers. It's quite good. I like working with my dad in the factory as well. It's quite good.
This is where it all happens. This is my part of the business, the ice cream factory, where for over the last 60, 70 odd years we're making ice cream under the Mancini banner. And I'm quite happy to be the main man that does it. This flavour that we're going to make now, a cherry mania. We got this idea when we were over in Rimini in January at an ice cream exhibition. And again, it just happens to join the list of one of my favourite flavours. My wife also gives me a row for being a bit 3 stone overweight, and I think this is the reason for it, because every time we make a batch of ice cream, I've always got to have a sample of it. I don't think we do anybody's figure any good, but we can certainly make them happy. And there we have it, Cherry Mania. It's absolutely wonderful, even if I say so myself. Run this business, obviously 3rd generation now, and with my brother and my sister, we have our disagreements and we have our arguments, but we just basically go on with our own duties every day. My mother, not involved very much anymore. The last few years, kind of taking a back seat. Still stays above the cafe. In the morning she'll hear the shutters going up. Oh, you're late this morning.
You see, me and my husband used to open the shop 9 o'clock in the morning. Recently coming up past 9 and I put the children in the bus stop and I do this and I do that. And in the summertime I used to close 12. Now I know it's changed because at the time I go to the pub at 11 at 10 o'clock. And 10 o'clock I should be very busy. The pub used to close. And that's why she's very busy with fish and chips and the tables and everything. My noise so changed. When it comes up past 10, they shut the door. See, annoys me that. My friend says, Marie Dura, said nothing.
I think it's true to say that the Italians in general who came here were very hard-working people. It's only the best of a population that emigrates. You will emigrate from your homeland only if you want to better yourself. And the only way you could better yourself in those days, and it's true today too, is by hard work.
My father worked at 8 o'clock, started working at 8 o'clock in the morning till about 11 at night. He closed one day a year out with the Wednesday, that was Christmas Day. And I remember when I started, I decided that I would shut on New Year's Day. Oh, he nearly went bananas. Yeah, berserk. You can't shut the New Year's Day. You're busy on New Year's Day, you know. And that was it, you know. Oh, he loved work. It was work and work alone.
The Italians' appetite for hard graft brought well-deserved success for many families. But world events were about to turn Europe upside down. The lives of Italians in Scotland would be changed forever, and a new group of strangers would appear on our shores.
None was more amazed than the German worker when his Panzer divisions erased Poland in 18 days. When shifting to the west...
On September 1st, 1939, more than 1 million German troops invaded Poland, and within 5 weeks, the country was occupied by the Nazis. Thousands of Polish soldiers escaped to Western Europe, but left loved ones behind. Their only chance to free their country was to join forces with the Allies. By July 1940, there were nearly 20,000 Polish troops based in camps across Scotland.
We present events in the life of the Polish army in June to December 1940. History marches on. Great Britain continues the struggle which has ceased in France, and Polish soldiers who have sworn to fight on for the freedom of their country arrive to join the British.
I remember when we woke up just bore disembarkation at Górok, we all ran to the deck to see the green sides of Clyde. And we thought it was beautiful.
Even in Poland, there is not so many trees all over the fields. So that first impression was very, very green. The cleanness, the organization, everybody knew what to do, where to do, what time to do. There was no chaos, although the country was in problem. So the first morning we landed in Bellahouston Park, Germans were bombing the port, Glasgow port. So the jury was behind us. We never could get rid of them.
As Hitler's Luftwaffe attacked strategic Scottish cities, Italy's fascist dictator Benito Mussolini decided to join the war on the side of Nazi Germany.